Welcome back to week 2 of our Advent program. How did you go last week? Have you reflected on some of those things that you discussed or looked at? And did you catch up on that bonus material in our special video folder? Don't forget also to download your PDF for today. And remember that at the end of the PDF, there's a little bit of extra reading material if you wanted to dive a bit deeper into Pope Francis's thought about the family. So the theme for today is something that the older generation will be more familiar with perhaps than the younger, but the theme of domestic church, that being a family, being an extended family within the church is a really important part of the church's mission. So our Archbishop is going to break open that theme for us now and also draw our attention to some of the readings from the second Sunday of Advent.
Now in the second week of Advent, we consider the joy of love of Pope Francis, particularly chapters 5, 6, 7 in the middle of it, and talks about the vocation of the family, the vocation of love, to be loved. There's a beautiful expression going back to the Vatican II documents and even before, nominating the church as the family as the domestic church. The church in miniature. What happens in the family should happen in the family of God universally. Yeah. So it's like a laboratory of what the gospel is about. The family is like if we can generate the great love that God wants us to do and encourage it in family, there is hope for the wider world. So the lessons learnt in the small domestic church are the lessons to be learnt in the universal church. That's the teaching that's explored fresh in Pope Francis, and is also a beautiful encouragement in the second reading from the Liturgy of the Word over this Sunday, coming up from the famous letter of St. Paul to the Philippians. And he has this to say: "My prayer is that your love for each other may increase more and more, and never stop improving your knowledge and deepening your perception, so that you can always recognize what is best." Always recognizing what is best. And that happens in the school of Bethlehem, the school of Nazareth. It happens now in the school in your family, with your family groups. And then it can happen, please God, in the wider world. If there's discord and disharmony in the wider world, its essence surely comes back to the basic cell, family love. The essence of it, the soul of world peace, happens in the laboratory of family love. So here we have the evangelizing arm, the evangelizing imperative of families, to be love for love in the world. Let's explore this important theme.
Okay, so now we come to the point where we get to sit back and listen to other people from around the Archdiocese reflecting on the questions you're going to reflect on. And don't forget, there's that bonus material in a separate folder if you wanted to hear more from more people. So what we're reflecting on today is this whole concept of us trying to be the church just in our normal family life. So the questions are, what do we do and how do we show mercy when those people close to us, like our friends or even family members, can't or aren't even interested in living out the church's vision in the way that we're trying to? How do we be a sign of mercy and hope to those people in our lives that we care about? And what does this whole idea of domestic church even mean? Have we got our heads around that? Let's talk about that. And finally, have you got any experiences or stories where you felt really blessed by another family? Or perhaps where your family has been able to be a blessing, be church to others. Pope Francis talks about each family being the nearest hospital for people who are struggling. Is that something you've been in your family? Have a lovely time discussing and reflecting. And I'll catch up with you again next time.
I think we need to be aware that we won't be called on for help or advice, or even be seen as a role model if we're just constantly judgmental. We really want people to be open to what we have and who we are, And we can't be that if people feel threatened or judged.
We do have friends who would live different lives to us in some ways and whose values might be different to ours, but we still like them and enjoy their company and get along with them, and we try to find a balance between hanging out with them and finding things that we have in common, but not compromising our beliefs and still holding on to them, and trying to be a witness to a witness of Jesus' love in a gentle way that might not be really intense or confrontational, but just being authentic and sharing different parts of our lives and trying to share those important bits of like where our joy and our peace comes from, and trying to share that love through our authentic family life, I guess.
Be patient, do good to those who hurt you. Be kind to those who offend you. Value relationships over rules. Make time for friends in irregular marriage situations.
We have a sibling who is in an irregular marriage situation with a same-sex partner, and a daughter who's also in a same-sex relationship. We accept, we show compassion, and we have to tolerate their different views. Christ many times showed that he was extremely welcoming. Us as a family, we also accept those people in our family in irregular marriage situations.
So we just accept their choices and continue our relationship with them as they are, as people. So feeling their struggles and walking with them in their difficult moments, that's how we would support them.
Jesus didn't judge. He was placed in situations with people from all walks of life and with all backgrounds and with all, loads to bear.
During this time of lockdown, of course, people haven't been able to get out and go to church in the normal way. And maybe it's been a time for people to remember that actually the very first churches all met in homes anyway.
Normal times when we can go to mass each week, it's quite easy to sort of hand over your spiritual life of the family to, we'll go to mass each week and, to sort of almost outsource it. Kids go to good schools and things like that. And how really being in lockdown has kind of brought it into focus, the domestic church, how important it is, and that you can't just sort of outsource that you need to be praying as a family, and that we need to be having these little family rituals and special meals on Saturday nights and things like that to really celebrate being a Christian in the home, not just out at church.
Bringing our faith really naturally into our life with just family prayer time. Keep it really simple and also not too intense with the kids, like if they're playing with their toys or they're drifting in and out a bit. Just, I guess the key is showing that Ruth and I are authentic in what we're doing.
Spaghetti night every Sunday so that the cousins can all get together, have a good time, and the siblings, more importantly, the siblings can get together. It's important that my children and my grandchildren have the opportunity to show to each other that life goes on and that no matter what, we're family and we will always be there in a supporting role.
And I also think it is an outward thing, like if the church is somewhere where people seek refuge and peace and tranquility, and again, being a home where people can come over, and you're doing your thing, the church isn't going to jazz it up for you, but if you're doing your thing and people are coming into your home and seeing what you're about, that in itself, I think, has a lot of witness. Might not necessarily have that in their lives.
I recall as a single man being invited by some of these families, being invited just to join them for a meal. Recall the sense of being so richly blessed by the invitation to be involved in the chaos, with kids screaming, with stuff happening, with people rushing, with people being late. And I recall what a tremendous richness that brought to my own life, and such a different perspective too from the life that I was living at the time. I think it's important for us to be aware of the fact that our lives and our families don't need to be perfect to be a strong witness and to be something that's a real treasure that can be shared with others.
One of our family friends in here, through our common friend, we came to know that they're struggling with their second baby too, because their first baby, they had it in India. So both moms were there to help them, so her husband didn't have to do anything. As soon as we heard that, we gave them a ring and said, don't worry, there is no particular rule, like, because till that time, everybody think about textbook, and this is the way the baby lies, this is the way the baby sleeps, and this is what you do, and nothing works. And they were struggling to give the baby a bath, like a baby bath. So I said, there is no rules, we are, mom and dad, we know what is best for our kids. And I just showed them the way that I do with our little ones. And the next day onwards, the husband was very happy to do it by himself. So much of stress was gone away.
We've been very blessed by knowing quite a few sort of larger families, and as our family has got larger, it's been quite, it's been an inspiration to realize that doesn't mean it's, everything is totally ending. It's just, it's nice to see other larger families, and they're, surviving and doing fine. And I think the same in the other direction, that we know some sort of younger families who are just starting out. They've said that they look to us and they see that although we've got 5 kids, we seem quite relaxed, and we're also, like we might not have it all together, and that's okay. To sort of get away from this idea that everybody has to be picture perfect. We can be sort of hanging together, and it's going okay, and that's fine. That's still part of God's plan. That's fine.
And it really very much still sticks with me too, the beautiful support that we received last year when my brother passed away. The wonderful practical support and the meals and that sort of thing. So we were very blessed there. I think also too, in terms of our family involvement with a community for people with disabilities, which is a community that's focused on doing things with people with disabilities rather than for. There have been many blessings, I think, that we've received from them in terms of lessons that we've learnt and some beautiful experiences that we've had there.